the truth of the matter is, it may be so far gone that they don't even want to take the test.
Yeah.
They don't even. I'm not interested in it. So now you just have to wing it and just know what the five things are and just start testing it out
Right.
till you figure out what it is
Which one that
that
they
you're getting a
like?
response from.
Thank you for coming to another episode of His Wife, Her Husband.
I am Shamika, his wife,
And I am Patrick, her husband. Our purpose is to help you build
and sustain your marriage.
from a biblical perspective. We thank you for coming to another episode of His Wife, Her Husband. In this particular episode, we are going to talk about love languages. And what you just do?
I was about to sing a song that had nothing to do with it.
Uh, what's the song?
Let's talk about. Yeah, that had nothing to do with it. Well, wait a minute. It does, cause touch,
So sex is touch.
It's
Sex can
touch,
be in the category of touch.
touching and affection and
All right.
affirming and
Hey, you ain't getting no arguments from me.
yeah.
So anyway, we are discussing love languages. What are they? Um, how do they play a role in the marriage? How does their role in the marriage help keep the marriage going forth and so forth
And
and
is
things
it
of that
a
nature?
real thing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it is a real thing.
yeah.
Um,
I do too. I believe and I believe that it is a language that's spoken without words all the time.
and it's a check this out because you said that. I think
Hmm.
it's we were saying in the book too. Just like any language is to be learned, so does the love language have to be learned, and that means um, being around. Because you think a child, if a child grow up in China, they're gonna automatically learn Chinese
Or
or Mandarin.
Mandarin. Hmm.
If a person grows up in America, they're gonna automatically learn English. If they grow up in Westwood, they'll learn Ebonics, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But as you continue to be around that person over and over again, you begin to learn that language.
The
So
communication, the spoken and unspoken,
correct.
yeah, the verbal and nonverbal. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the meta
The
communication.
meta
So
communication.
so the same goes, I believe, with marriage. That if you're around them and you're paying attention and you're verbally communicating, then you'll find out or you'll understand what that person's love language is.
Hmm.
Just like the book said, I think we have a tendency to make our spouse's love language, make our love language our spouse's love language. So if I like touch, then I'm automatically assuming my wife is gonna like touch. When that might not be her love language. You feel what I'm
Correct.
saying? If
Yes.
if it's words of affirmation, well, I like somebody to tell me that. I think it's, but that might not be there. So the thing is, what is it? And here's where it comes where you have to pay attention.
Hmm.
Like you have to pay attention to how they respond.
And also what they're giving out, because usually what they're giving out, that's what
What you
they
mean? Hit
want.
me out, cause I don't understand.
So a lot of times, if I say, "Oh, Patrick, you look so handsome today," "Oh, Patrick, I want to do this," "Oh, Patrick, oh, Patrick, oh, Patrick," that's me giving you words of affirmation. Usually, that's something that that person would want.
So if I understand you correctly, if you're always giving me words of affirmation,
Hmm.
I then understand that may be that
You're
may be
looking
your
for.
love language.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Hmm.
So how do we flip it if you're constantly giving me words of affirmation and that's not working for me?
Yeah,
Then
then that's where I would have to pay attention to what it is that you're doing.
so then that would be paying attention to my response to your actions then, right?
Correct. Because
Okay.
if I give you affirmation, then you turn around and you hug me,
Got you.
that means that touch is your thing. Again, this is trial and error. This is a way to figure out because there is a quiz that you can take or a questionnaire that you can take. Sometimes the questionnaire may miss it.
Mhm.
Or just by human default, you'll just still have a tendency to keep leaning into what it is that you want,
Mhm.
just because that's just natural.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. So
Mhm.
I just want to share that.
I know a lot of times Shamika and I when we talk we when we talk to people, sometimes people think, oh, this is something that comes up. Sometimes people think that one language. So if you take the love language test
Uh-huh.
and you rank number one with words of affirmation.
Mhm.
And then you have other four love languages that are there. People have a tendency, or the spouse has a tendency, just to
Do that
do
one.
that one. But
Mhm.
I don't believe that's, it's almost like in the ingredients on the back of a box. This is the most, the first ingredient is probably what's most in the box.
Yeah.
So with the spouse or in the marriage, okay, yeah, this is going to be the one I'm going to do the most towards my wife, but I'm not going to neglect the other four,
Right.
because all of it together makes macaroni and cheese. You
Yeah.
feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I was getting ready to say, and we are human.
Hmm.
And so all four of those languages or those ways of communicating love are necessary. One may not be as most prevalent or most needed for that person,
Hmm.
but you still don't want to not touch. You still don't want to not spend time.
Right.
Like you still need quality time.
Right.
You may not need it as much, but you still need that.
Yeah.
And I think that if you do the first thing, let's say if it's quality time,
Hmm.
and you layer it with touch and words of affirmation,
Hmm.
and I can't remember the other ones right off, but if you do those things, I guarantee you that all love senses will be touched. You know,
Hmm.
it nothing will be lacking and nothing will be missing and nothing will be broken because you have tended well to all of those.
Hmm.
So yeah.
I think for me, one of the things, because you mentioned layered, with that is, I I missed the boat with definitely two of my children, and there was not a lot of, like, if I had to do it all over again, I would not only say I love you, but I would layer I love you with the hug. Not
Hmm.
only hey you're beautiful, but I would
Oh, gifts.
layer the beauty. Is it? I don't have my glasses, so
No, I don't know. It's just coming to me
oh, here we
now.
go.
Hmm.
Words of affirmation, gifts,
Touch.
acts of
Oh, acts
service,
of service.
quality time, and physical touch.
Hmm.
All right, so those are the five again: physical touch, quality time, acts of service or acts of kindness, gifts, and words of affirmation.
And put a heart in the comment if you've taken the love language
That's
test
good.
already.
Right.
Put a heart in it, and if you know what it is, put a heart as well as what yours is.
That's good.
Hmm.
So yeah, I would. So this is for fathers. Fathers, you have any daughters, and for the daughters or the sons too, because my son. So if any of my children, if you have not, I apologize for not doing a great job of loving you. And it's about marriage, but loving you and showing you, or layering the love for you to make you feel, what I'm saying, accepted and wanted and loved in case maybe. So if
Uh-huh.
you guys feel that way, please contact me, let me know, and definitely I'll apologize to you personally. However, fathers, make sure you do that. If you tell your daughter you love her, hug her. If you tell your daughter she's beautiful, beautiful, hug her. If you tell your son you appreciate him or you thank him and he's handsome, hug him at the same time. Like sons need that too. We kind of, especially,
From mothers, I mean from dads too, but from
yeah.
mothers,
I'm talking about from parents. Parents,
dad don't need to tell their son they handsome.
man, you could tell your son he handsome. Like,
Nah,
yeah, I'm like,
they
man, hey,
alright,
bro, I, I,
bro. Your swag.
I tell my son, hey man, you're a handsome man. You're a handsome man, and I give him a hug. Like, I'm not tripping about that. Not for my son. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes, sir.
That's just me personally.
I mean, like, but yeah, because I do. I mean, I get what you're saying because
Right,
I tell my daughters that they're beautiful, so I get
right,
it.
right, right.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I understand.
again, what was I going to say?
I'm not
You
sure.
said layer the love languages with your spouse, and we're saying make sure that you not only. Oh, that's what I want to say. So here's the thing. So the thing is, let's say in the beginning, my wife's love language was quality time. This is why it's key to communicate with your spouse regularly, because now 10 years later she's changed, and quality time may not be her primary love language anymore. She's a little bit, it is. She's a little bit older, she's had children, maybe she's not the same shape anymore, and now it's words of affirmation that she's looking for. And if I'm communicating properly with my wife, I'll see, okay, I don't get the same response I used to get when I get quality time as I do when when I give words of affirmation. You feel what I'm saying? I mean, I don't get the same response quality time now that I did back then. But when I tell her she's beautiful, when I tell her she's nice, or as the Bible says, when I ravish myself in her bosom, it's just something about that makes her feel great and good, and she has a nice attitude,
You
and she has
feel
a pleasing
cherished and
personality. Like,
adored.
it's just so much. So I would have to then pay attention to her. So even the same way, back and forth, wives, pay attention. He may like, physical touch, and now that's not the case for him no more. And if you're not paying attention, which is why I think marriages end after 25 years, is because you're not paying attention to the change that has happened with your spouse.
Why are you holding your mic?
Well, I want to put, because it makes kind of noise when I'm trying to
Oh,
turn it
okay.
up, so I'm
I
just
thought
kind of
something was wrong with
pushing it forward. No, I'm just pushing it forward
it.
so
Oh,
I can
okay.
speak into it right.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Anything? You good?
Yeah, I think that that is it. Again, you know, the love languages may not be spoken, but love has a language of its own,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think that Dr. Chapman did a very excellent job
Yeah.
of bringing it to our attention on ways to express it and show it in a healthy way, you know, non-evasive,
Yeah.
right? Because again, you wouldn't think that maybe washing the dishes or washing the car or, you know, grabbing the groceries or cooking or whatever, you just wouldn't think that there was a form of communicating that I love you and that I care, or acknowledging when your spouse has his hair cut and he looks handsome, you
Mm-hmm.
know, or to say, you know, oh, your smile is so handsome, you know,
Yeah.
or for your, you know, the husband to the wife that, oh, you know, I still get excited when I hear your voice or see your call. Those things mean the world. So I would encourage you, as you're listening to this, to take time to reflect and ponder on where you can increase or you can
That's good.
amp up your ways of communicating your love to your spouse.
Yeah.
To not be dismissive and not take it for granted. But the truth of the matter is, we are human. We have a tendency to take things for granted. We just
Correct.
assume that it'll always be. We forget that we live in a world that is dying and is decaying, that is wasting away, that it's
Mm-hmm.
not going to always be. So I know that you probably have had an argument, you probably had a little tiff or whatever the case may be. Because that's the real thing. When you're in a relationship, those are real things that happen. But at the end of the day, it's like I couldn't imagine, or nor would I want to imagine being away from you or being without you.
Mm-hmm.
And even if I think that, you know, that, I don't know, life may do what it do, I still think that I still think that you shouldn't wish evil or harm to anyone. So go ahead and communicate that you love your spouse and that you thank God for their life and the impact that they made. And even if you can't find anything else, know that their life is a gift from God, and that's enough.
Yeah. I think one of the things. So let's say the marriage is on the rocks. It's
Mhm.
a rocky marriage.
Mhm.
Let's take the love language um, challenge.
Mm.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So it
we
is
can
now.
make it one. Mhm.
Take a love language challenge and begin to pour onto your spouse the love language, their love language. Like, think about, look, that means you have to take a real internal, and you have to take an
You had like you
inventory.
had to take an assessment
You have
because
to take an,
the truth
yeah,
of the
uh-huh.
matter, excuse me, the truth of the matter is, it may be so far gone that they don't even want to take the test.
Yeah,
They don't even. I'm not interested in it. So now you just have to wing it and just know what the five things are and just start testing it out till
right.
you figure out what it is that
Which one that
that
they
you get a
like.
response from.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then, and again, we're not saying that it's going to work, but I just believe in putting everything you can into marriage. Hopefully it doesn't, but before it dissolves. I'm aware that we're human beings. I'm aware that you can't make make your spice. You can't make your spouse return the love.
Mm.
However, I am a big proponent of doing everything you can so that God forbid divorce happens, you can honestly say, I did everything I could. So let's say that couples, if you're listening, take the 5 love language challenge. The challenge means I'm gonna test these love languages on my spouse. I'm gonna flood them with them. I don't mean like I did it for a week. No, no, no. I'm talking about really
Be
be
intentional.
intentional
Hmm.
about flooding them, pouring it on, and see what happens.
And I would like to add too, and paying attention to their feedback,
Right.
being like really.
But that's the challenge because if I'm
Hmm.
doing it, I want to see what the response is.
Uh-huh.
If I get good response, okay, that's one of that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then do that a lot because maybe because everybody talks at the beauty shop or the barber shop. And then you have the husbands who's at the barbershop saying, "Man, she don't respect me. She don't say that. She don't even, bro. She don't even say thank you. I didn't do this and did that." And you know what I'm saying? And then she's like, "He don't touch me no more." I don't know, but it happens
Hmm.
because you'll tell the barbershop and the beauty shop that. But
Hmm.
how many of us really tell our spouses? Then sometimes you don't want to tell your spouse because you feel like they're not going to accept it, they're not going to receive it. It creates an argument, and so just do the love language, find the response, and see what happens. Before we continue on, if you have not subscribed to our channel, please help us defeat the algorithm devil. Can I say? I probably don't want to
Angel.
say that
I
because
want to say the
the algorithm
algorithm
devil
angel.
probably got mad and whatever. So help us with the algorithms. Hit the like button. Uh, comment, please comment, share, hit the bell notification so when we drop new videos, you'll be the first one to get those things. So Shamika said something earlier. I really want you to do. Put a heart. If you've taken the love language test, put a heart in there, and then next to the heart, put what your number one love language was when you took the test. Something else I want to say. Oh, you got anything for you? For I say one more thing. You good? I think we covered it. Um, yeah. Oh, coaching. So what we didn't tell you guys, we're still telling you, we didn't tell you in the last video, we are certified marriage coaches. So if you're looking for coaching for your marriage, go to his www.hiswifeherhusband.net and book your what do we call it?
A discovery call. I think that's what we call it. But yeah,
Discovery call, so we
but we
can
can
have a
see, can
conversation
connect.
and
If you're
see
a
if
candidate.
coaching is what you need or if it's counseling. If
Hmm.
it's counseling, we will send you to somebody else who can probably counsel you, or we'll just encourage you to go get counseling. If it's coaching, make sure you sign up, and in the conversation, we can determine whether or not coaching is what you need. So we coach as a couple, but we also do individual coaching. So sometimes the wives may want just that one-on-one with his wife. If that's the case, then make sure you put on there in the subject uh, um, coaching just with his wife. Husbands, if you're looking for coaching, typically most men don't do it. But husbands, if you are and you're looking for coaching just with me personally, make sure in the subject line you put her husband coaching, and then we'll see what we can still have that discovery call, and we can move forward and hopefully help you build and sustain your marriage from a biblical perspective. Now, I will say this: those of you doing coaching, if we are doing single coaching, the may process may take longer because both the husband and the wife are not in the sessions together. So I just want to put that out there. Anyway.
Coaching is sometimes necessary because it helps you to see it from another perspective. A true coach will
Hmm.
help you to see where your needs improvement areas are, where your strengths lie, and where you can keep doing those things. I know I have definitely enjoyed my opportunities to coach. Sometimes within those 2 hours, because that's a 2 hour investment, very rarely do you see um, a coach invest on the front end that time to give you that experience to see if there's compatibility and chemistry because that's involved in coaching as well.
And that's during the conversation,
The call, the first,
first assessment call.
yes. So you don't want to. I mean, I just wanted you to know that it is a heavy investment on the front end. We are believing that you're not going to book an appointment if that's not what you're looking for. And so we don't want to waste each other's time, each other's energy and efforts. So on the front end, we're making the investment, and when we show up, we expect you to show up your
Right.
best as well. And so then we can assess again if that's it, if we are compatible. Because the truth of the matter is, there are many marriage coaches that are out there, but they're not us. Amen. But then by the same token, if there is no compatibility, then it's okay for us to refer out and to help you look, because again, our objective is to help you build and sustain your marriage. And so when we have that call, we can determine if you're in the building stage, if we are working with the foundational blocks, or we're sustaining, meaning you already know, but maybe it's just kind of scattered. Maybe the marriage is a little disorganized, or it's dysfunctional. That's what this will help do. So don't minimize coaching. And again, none of us need coaching. It is definitely a desire, and it's a want, and it's so that you can improve what you have been called to. And so if God has given you the role or the responsibility, thank you, Lord, have given you the responsibility of being a wife or being a husband, you want to make sure that you invest well in your in the tools in order to be able to fulfill your God-given role and assignment of being that wife, being that husband, being that mother, being that father, being that woman, being that man. Those core things.
That's good. Anyway, thank you. Hope to see you guys in the next video. Take care.
Take care.